Gilmore.
With the exception, perhaps, of budget speeches, no statement from a Taoiseach has been as much awaited as the Taoiseach's statement today. For some time now, the country has been waiting to hear what the government is going to do to deal with the economic crisis and deal with the state of our public finances. We were expecting the major statement last week. We didn't get it because the Taoiseach said he was going to do it his way and that he was engaged in talks with the social partners. We now know that the talks with the social partners came to an end late last night, early this morning, and everybody has waited for the Taoiseach to make the statement to the House about the momentous decisions that government has made to deal with the state of the public finances. People who are listening in today at Count Corla, who are concerned about their job, concerned about their business, who perhaps have lost a job and want to know when they're likely to get one back. Somebody who, for example, is looking at all of the speculation that we have seen over the past number of weeks and is trying to say to themselves, well, what does this mean to me in my income, in my household, in terms of my family budget, have got no answers today. There is nothing in what the Taoiseach has said today that tells people how it's going to impact on their jobs, their business or their income. What the Taoiseach has given us is frankly what we already know. We know that the government is set out to reduce public expenditure by $2 billion this year. We know too, because we know it from the document that government has submitted to the European Commission, that that's not the full story. That there has to be another $4 billion next year, and $4 billion the year after, and $3.5 billion the year after that, and $3 billion after that again. And what people want to get a sense of is where all of this is going to lead and what it means in practical terms. And we still don't know. The Taoiseach, in effect, has told the House and has told the country nothing today that we didn't already know. What we do know, or what we have seen, is we have seen a certain amount of speculation and leaks in the newspapers about what this means in practice. The big announcement, I suppose, today, or the big information, and it's not news today, is the idea of the pension levy. There have been figures that have been speculated about over the course of the past 12 hours in particular, since the breakdown of the social partnership talks, which set out what the Taoiseach calls the graduated way in which the pension levy will be applied. And if those reports are correct, then let me try and translate what all of this means for somebody, a public servant, a guard, a nurse, a teacher, on, let's say, an income of $45,000 a year. They're already paying about $5,000 between PRSI and pension contributions and health levies and income levies off that income. What this proposal will mean, if the figures, not that the Taoiseach has given us, but that are reported in the public media are correct, is that that person will pay an additional €3,375. Now that's about €8,500 from that person's pay, somebody in the workforce for 10 years, before she pays tax, before she pays for her childcare, before she pays her mortgage. And what she wants to know, and what the Taoiseach hasn't provided an answer for, is what is she paying this for? Because she didn't create the problem. She's not somebody who has gone off and borrowed money from a bank to buy shares in the same bank. She's not somebody who drinks champagne in the hospitality suites at racecourses. She's just somebody who's gone out to work every morning and worked hard and tried to make a living and tried to rear a family and tried to provide for herself, and all she wants is a modest standard of living. And yes, she understands that the country does have economic problems at the moment and that there is a need for everybody to put their shoulder to the wheel. And yes, she's prepared to do that as well. But she wants her government to level with her. And level with her you haven't done today. Because the first problem is that you haven't spelled out the details of what you are going to do. Secondly, you have dealt only with the issue for the current year. We're talking about $2 billion over the course of 2009. What are you going to do in 2010? If you have to double this act, in 2010, as your own figures state that you're going to do, where are you going to get the money then? How much more of a pension levy are you going to apply? What extra taxes are you going to impose? What services are you going to cut? If the only place that you are looking to address this is on the expenditure side, then you are leading the country into a downward spiral which is only going to make the problem worse. And this is where the Labour Party has its biggest fundamental difference with the way in which you are dealing with the country's economic problems and with the public finances at the moment, and that is that you are fixated solely with the public expenditure side, and that you are not addressing the need to generate employment, to need to get the economy moving again, the need to get people spending, and the need to get revenues buoyant again. And all of the uncertainty that you have created, all of the delay, the fact that you are constantly playing catch-up with the economy. You've been playing catch-up since the beginning of 2008. The turn in the economy didn't happen overnight. It's been coming since the beginning of 2008. Your government failed to deal with it. As recently as just before the summer, you were still in denial about what was happening with the economy. The best that you could do in July was the announcement that you were going to cut 440 million from public expenditure. And in this House, you denied here on foot of a Labour Party motion that there was a real problem in the economy, and you haired off for the summer recess, a period when 40,000 jobs was in the economy, and then came back with the big idea that you were going to bring the budget forward to October. You brought the budget forward to October, you didn't get it right in that. You then had the banking crisis, you brought in one measure in September, and you've had 5 different attempts at dealing with the problem in the Irish banks since then, and we still don't have a full recapitalisation programme for the Irish banks. And in the meantime, the economy is in a state of suspension. People are not spending. They don't know what the future is going to be. They don't know what the future is going to be for their own business. They don't know whether they're going to get credit from banks, or what banks are going to be there to provide them with credit, or what kind of supports they are going to be provided with. They know that there's a problem in the public finances, and they look to government to address that. And what have you done over the past couple of months? You've dithered. Talks with social partnership. You didn't start the talks with the social partnership until after Christmas, when it was manifestly clear, shortly after the agreement that you made on the pay agreement that you made in September, that things were going the wrong way, and it was certainly clear after the budget that there was going to be a requirement for talks with social partners. You didn't start the talks until after Christmas. You ran it up to the 11th hour before you put your proposals on the table. You imposed a deadline, and what did you expect? Of course you weren't going to get agreement on it. You are missing an opportunity, Taoiseach. This country, the people of this country, are ready to put their shoulder to the wheel to get our economy out of the difficulty that it is in now. People understand the problems that we have, and they want to do something about it, but they expect leadership from you and from your government. And time again, you have disappointed in failing to provide that leadership. I think the country expected you to come in here today and to announce details of what it was you were deciding. I think the country expected you to come in here today and to have a roadmap, not just about how you were going to deal with the public finances for 2009, but how you were going to get us to this point in 2013 that the public finances were going to be back in order again. How we were going to move the economy from one where we are losing jobs at an enormous rate to one where we can start creating jobs again. So that people would get an idea about how it was going to affect their own lives. That if they lost a job, what measures were actually going to be in place. No point talking to them that there's 150 million for training or whatever. They need to know, what does that mean in practical terms? What happens if they lose their job? Where are the courses? Where are the means by which they can retrain and upskill and get back into the workforce again? And we're not getting that sense from you. Taoiseach, you have missed an opportunity. You have a country which is willing to play its part. People in all walks of life, the private sector, the public sector, everywhere, willing to play their part in getting the country moving again. The problem is you are not providing the leadership, you are not providing the roadmap, and you haven't done it here today. In fact, all you have done here today is added to the uncertainty, added to the confusion, and I believe added to the difficulty. I hope we will have an opportunity when we come to leaders' questions to tease out some of the things that you have listed here in this statement that you made today, but you certainly haven't contributed to solving the country's problems today. I believe that your statement is a big disappointment, and I believe that it will have added more to the uncertainty and to the climate of despair in many cases that people, I think, are now beginning to feel, rather than what it needed to do, which is to give people a lift, give people a sense that you had a handle on the problem and that you were going to lead us out of it.